gonna go on trips this summer, right?
Of course. We've got a family legacy to rewrite.
That's tomorrow's problem. Now, I just want a normal family meal. Our family home contains artifacts that were stolen. And we've been returning them to break the family curse.
But we still have a lot of work to do.
Kids, look out! Vanderhoevens, we have a situation. Come with me.
An artifact was stolen from the restricted wing.
Maybe there's a curse someone doesn't want us to break.
Smells like sabotage.
Everything smells like sabotage to you.
We've got an intruder to track. If we don't end this curse,
All the artifacts could activate at the same time.
We'll need all the help we can get. Bring it on.
Hang on!
Oh, nothing like surviving the sea's wrath. Nice try, Poseidon.
I told my family I would never leave them again.
You shouldn't make promises you can't keep.
It's very exciting out in the field, isn't it?
Hello everyone, my name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and I am here once again with Gabrielle. I don't know if you remember, we had an interview about another animated series that I can't say the name of on this channel, on this interview not too long ago. But she, in this case, she plays Pandora in the upcoming second season and the first season of Curses from Apple TV Plus. How are you today?
It's so nice to see you.
You too. You had some wonderful answers in the other one, so I cannot wait to talk to you about Curses. How are you feeling as we're getting literally 2 days away from season 2 to begin?
So excited. I mean, it's always very exhilarating when it comes time for a project to come out, because you never know how it's going to be perceived. I mean, season 1, people adored it. That's why we're back for season 2. But you just, you got to hold your breath and hope that people love the show as much as you do, because, obviously I'm biased. You know what I mean? I have so much care and so much love into this project, but you just never know how the world's going to receive it. So I'm excited, but I'm also like, uh-oh, here we go.
That's fair. That's fair. This actually, I think I asked this exact same question in the other interview, so I apologize that I'm asking it again. Your character grows up in that first season. Pandora really learns a lot about herself. She learns a lot about who she does. You play those characters incredibly well. What about Pandora is changing, is growing as we move into season 2 that we didn't get to see her do yet in season 1?
I think that we get to explore a little bit of Pandora's vulnerability this season. And I think through that, we get to explore her world, right? We bring her best friend into the mix, and we also get to see, what does that look like when you have a huge secret that you can't tell your best friend, somebody that you love, and you're trying to also protect your family, and you have all of these things weighing on you, and you're just a kid. What does that look like? And I'm excited to explore that in season 2. I think that that's going to be a really relatable story point for viewers. And there's an episode where, we deal with the voices in our head, the things that we tell ourselves. They aren't necessarily true. They're fabrications of our imagination, but they still have an emotional impact on us. They still can hurt. So that's something that I'm excited. As far as Pandora's growth, we learn about her responsibility. We learn about her love for her family and for her friends. And we also get to see her acts of bravery.
And speaking of that bravery, at the very end of season 1, we get to see her really take lead. Her mom kind of backs down a little bit, lets her take charge, lets her make plans that her brother usually makes plans for. So she's really taking this leadership position. But now her dad's back. Now that patriarchal figure is back. Does that change her perception of where she stands in the family, or is she going to keep that gung-ho mentality?
pretty spunky, and when dad does come back and he is integrated back to the family, of course, he's a father. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? There's absolutely no way that you're going on these adventures. But it has to be explained to him, like, dude, you were stoned for the entire first season, and we did all these crazy things. And Pandora and the rest of the family have to kind of explain that they've already proven themselves. They've already shown that they can handle this responsibility. So, as far as dad being back, of course, she's excited to have her father back. That was the entire premise of season 1. But it's also, it has to be explained that she's just a kid, but she's also not just a kid.
Yes. But once again, you see a lot of that dynamic growth in her. How does it feel? You were very young, but you've had one heck of a career. You're a comedian, you're a musician, you're kind of like all of the things all tied up. What is it like over the past few years, you growing into this character?
It's been thrilling because I started playing Pandora when I was about 16 or 17. And initially I was a little worried about the role because she is a little younger than I am. Usually I'm playing characters that are around the same age as me, So with Pandora, she's still in that tween state. And I was worried about having that childlike nature, having that mindset of Pandora. But that was just me psyching myself out, because it's not that I was at a point in life where I couldn't access that point. It was just the idea of wanting to do a good job and wanting to portray the story accurately. So as far as a vocal technique was concerned at the time, Pandora's voice is very pinched, right? It's very tight and it's very, I'd like to say it's kind of at the top of my throat when I do it. And that comes from, yes, it's a adventure horror comedy. Things are very high stakes and things are very stressed. So we're screaming and, it's like, go over here, go over there. So like that naturally comes. But as far as just like how we're speaking here today, I had to kind of find an aspect where I was putting a pressure on myself to make sure that I was accurately portraying what they needed to portray. So that's kind of why Pandora is just a touch higher than my other characters. It's still my own speaking voice, but that's kind of where she differs.
And speaking of that, I actually want to pull out 2 points, but the first one is most vocal actors are older than you. They're closer to my age and I'm old. But it's one of those where it's for most young actors, child actors, they are kind of one octave, one voice, and they just play it in different characters. You have worked to make your characters independent, and Pandora is definitely different than others you have done. What work have you done professionally to make sure that you can access those different characters at different times?
I think that's a really good question because there was a time where I was doing probably about 5 or 6 shows at once, and that's accumulated from live action and voiceover. There was a point where CURSES was recording at the same time of Gremlins the Wild Batch at the same time of Monster High. So it was a lot to kind of be like, okay, today I'm doing this thing and tomorrow I'm doing that thing. And hey, make sure that Pandora doesn't sound like Claudine today or Claudine doesn't sound like Elle today. So it was kind of, it's just something that you learn to juggle. I think staying rooted in the moment of, okay, this is what I'm doing today. Worry about today. Tomorrow has enough trouble that comes with it. You can't carry everything at the same time. So I think that kind of translates into keeping things separate as far as a vocal quality is concerned and making sure that things don't sound exactly the same. It's still me. You can still tell it's me, but it's instrumental in making sure that each project has its own attention.
Of course, of course. And once again, you do it very well. We literally just talked about you and I have just talked about 2 different projects and they were completely different sounding characters. I will not deny that was wonderful, incredible, especially for someone at your age. That was just wonderful. My other question goes to, who is Pandora to you? So you mentioned how you changed her voice, but when you're reading her, when you're just considering her as a person, who is Pandora to you?
Who's Pandora to me? Pandora to me is she reminds me a lot of my younger self in the sense of you don't really recognize hardships. you know, the way that you intake hardship as a now 19-year-old, maybe I didn't when I was 11 or 12 in that space that Pandora is at. So to me, she's very representative of my younger self, and I think that's a little bit of why I was kind of reluctant to go all in at first, because when I started playing Pandora, I was very much in a transition space. I was 16, 17. I was trying to age up. I was trying to, you know, find how do I transition out of, you know, the kids and family space, and that also leaked into my own personal personality. So Pandora to me is a love letter to my younger self, and it's an allowance for me to still explore that childlike wonder as a young adult.
Oh, that is very sweet. Oh my goodness. Gabrielle, thank you so much for your time. Curses season 2, the 10-episode season premieres on October 4th on Apple TV Plus. Thank you so much for your time, and have fun with the first new season. I'm so excited.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.